Hi guys, welcome to our daily encounter. We are in the second section of Isaiah. Many consider Isaiah to be split up into two sections, chapter 1 through 39, dealing with a lot of judgment, a lot of discussion about how God's going to deal with Israel and how God's going to deal with the nations that he uses to deal with Israel and how that all is going to play out. Whereas the second half, chapters 40 on, deal with comforting God's people. And it even starts with, in chapter 40 and verse 1, "Comfort, O comfort my people." And so there's a lot of messages of encouragement. There's a lot of messianic inferences there in this section. And we find an encouraging word in chapter 41 in our reading today. And it begins in chapter 41 in talking about the Gentiles. God's going to deal with the Gentiles, with their idolatry, and they're dealing with these false gods. He's going to deal with them, and he differentiates them from his own people. After talking about the Gentiles in verses 1 through 7, he goes on to say, "But you, Israel, my servant, Jacob, whom I've chosen, descendant of Abraham, my friend, you whom I have taken from the ends of the earth and called from its remotest parts, and said to you, you are my servant, I have chosen you and not rejected you." So he starts out by reminding them of the fact that they were his servant, he had chosen them, they were descendants of his friend, and he called them from the ends of the earth and from the remotest parts. He says, "You are my servant, I have chosen you, I have not rejected you." So he's reminding them that I'm still there for you, I'm still your God. But it's verse 10 that we want to focus on in our devotion today, where he says, "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not anxiously look about you, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, surely I will help you, surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." And this would have been a precious truth to those who were in exile at this time. To know that, hey, yes, circumstances are bleak. We've been taken out of the land that we love. We're in a foreign land at this time. Basically at the disposal of these foreign rulers. This would be encouraging for them to see these different reasons why they shouldn't fear and why they shouldn't be anxious. And he says he gives several reasons why they shouldn't fear and be anxious. He says, for one, I am with you. His presence with them would have been an encouragement while they were in exile. It wasn't that God's presence was just in Jerusalem or just in the temple that they had been taken from, but his presence was with them even in exile. And knowing that he was just there would have been a great encouragement for them. The second thing is that he still had a relationship with them. "Do not anxiously look about you, for I am your God." I am still in relationship with you. I am still your God. And that entails everything that goes along with being your God. And so you shouldn't be anxious. I'm still in a relationship with you. And he says, thirdly, I will strengthen you. He'll give them the strength to make it through this exile situation. Fourthly, I will help you. He's going to be there to help them and to assist them in the things that they need while they're in that particular situation. And then fifthly, he's going to give them support. "Surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." He's going to give them the support that they need in that situation. And surely as we look back at that situation that they were in, we can see where the Lord had been with them. He had been still in a relationship with them. He helped them. He supported them in that situation. And the book of Esther brings a lot of that out. But even we who are believers in Christ, those who have been connected to God through Christ, we can also look at this verse and find encouragement as well, because these same things apply to us that apply to them. And in the time that we're living, there are many people who are very fearful and very anxious and looking about very anxiously at what's going on. There's a lot of things going on in the world today that can trouble our hearts and cause us to become fearful and anxious. And these same truths ought to help us through these times of fear and anxiety. We need to remember that God is with us, that His presence is there with us. And that's one of the most precious things we can ever have in life. All the other things that we have that are good, that bring us joy and happiness, can't compare to having the presence of God, because God's presence is there eternally and is there all the time. The presence of our friends or our relatives or other people that we care about are only temporary, and they come and go based on various circumstances. But God's presence is there no matter where we are, no matter what situation we find ourselves in. And that's encouraging. And we need to remember too that He is our God. We have a relationship with the God, the creator of all the earth. And to refer back to the first part of the chapter, He's not a God who is made in the image of man, or is made by a craftsman that they have to be very careful that they build it just right so it won't topple over. He is the true and living God, the powerful God, the creator God. And He is in a relationship with us. That's very encouraging. And then that He will strengthen us. Even if He doesn't pull us out of the situation, even though maybe things even get worse in the world and situations get even more difficult, we know that we have God there to strengthen us. Because He's with us and because He's in a relationship with us, He's going to strengthen us. He's going to give us the strength that we need, the inner strength that we need to get through whatever situations we're called to get into. And then He's also going to help us. He's going to give us the things that we need. He's going to assist us. He's going to guide us. He's going to lead us through the situation, all the while supplying the strength. And He's going to support us as well. Surely I will uphold you with my righteous right hand. And the right hand in ancient times was considered the strong hand. And so He upholds us. He supports us with His strong hand, His righteous right hand. And so because we have such a relationship with God, because His presence is with us, because He is in relationship with us, because He strengthens us, helps us, and supports us, we can get through any situation. It may not be easy. It might be difficult. There might be a lot of angst and trouble and trial along the way. But we know that we're going to get through it because God is there with us, and for these other reasons as well. So if we find our hearts being fearful, as we become anxious, let's go to Isaiah 41 and verse 10 and fall back on these truths once more. Remind ourselves of the God that we serve, and be encouraged and have our hearts encouraged and uplifted as we think about them. So with that, I do thank you guys for watching the video today. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.